After the collapse of the amnesty legislation, there are new demands for the government to enforce immigration laws already on the books. As many as 1 million people are crossing our borders illegally each and every year. And between 40 and 60% of legal visitors to this country overstay their visas. Christine Romans has our report.
Trying to sell its amnesty plan, the White House promised it would enforce the law and secure the borders. But a promise wasn't enough.
The message is crystal clear that the American people want us to start with enforcement, both at the border and at the workplace.
The question now, what next? The administration almost apologizing as it promises to enforce the law.
You will continue to see heart-wrenching examples of families being pulled apart because I have an obligation to enforce the law, whether it's painful to do or whether it's pleasurable to do. But in order to regain the credibility with the American people that has been squandered over 30 years, we're going to have to be tough.
Credibility so badly squandered, Americans have lost faith in government.
They don't think we can control our borders, that we can win a war, that we can issue passports, that we can solve other problems.
But will the administration get serious? 854 miles of fence was signed into law last fall. The Homeland Security Secretary expects just 150 miles finished by September. Immigration and Customs Enforcement says worksite enforcement is up over the past couple of years. Some 3,000 administrative and 600 criminal arrests so far this year. But there are an estimated 12 to 20 million illegal aliens. ICE has tripled the number of fugitive arrest teams to 61, but there are still more than 600,000 criminal fugitives at large. And in Washington, resistance to enforcing the law on the books.
I've looked at it, it's unenforceable. The current law doesn't work, and we're about to change it in a way that would, in my opinion.
Fake documents and purchased Social Security numbers, he says, make the current system of worksite enforcement impossible. But that's not the message sent to Washington this week. Crack the document rings, punish employers who hire illegal workers, deport criminal fugitive aliens. You don't need a bipartisan grand compromise to do those things, Lou.
Not even a little bit. And for them to complete that 140 miles of fence, that means they would have to complete 10 times as much fence as this administration has put up over the course of the past 7 months.
They're mandated next year for another 200 and some miles. At the pace we're going, the critics say that it's just not going quickly enough, and they're concerned there's just not a will to do that.
There's not the will on the part of this government. Senator Kyle, I thought it was striking, listing on many things that the federal government cannot do. Senator McCain, Senator Graham, now referring to these laws as unenforceable. This is much like the mantra about jobs that Americans won't do, change to jobs that they're not doing. This administration and the efforts here to push this amnesty through, to start creating now the expression unenforceable laws, rather than a government that will not enforce the laws. Quite a different distinction. This is becoming an Orwellian practice in Washington, D.C.
Well, and I wonder what the folks who are in those fugitive teams going out to hunt fugitives, I wonder what the people who are building that fence, the people who are working for the Border Patrol, I wonder how they feel when they're told that the current system is unenforceable, when that is their job and they're working very hard.
To hear the Secretary of Department of Homeland Security speak in such reluctant tones about enforcing the U.S. law has got to send a wonderful signal to the outstanding men and women of Homeland Security. Quite something to behold. Thank you very much, Christine Romans. Later.